So, let's get right into this. So, this is for Conduit of the Celestials. Let's activate, and let's just talk about the hero talents. Alright, so, big healer friendly thing right off the bat. We get just a straight up ability. A big AoE pulsing heal. And only a 90-second cooldown, which honestly, not terrible. Depending on your pulls and your overall DPS, you're probably able to do this every 3 to 4 pulls and packs. So, not bad. We'll just start left and go work our way to the right. Alright, so let's look at the one that I haven't selected. The healing of our EMs and our Vivify is increased by 6%. So right off the bat, it doesn't seem bad because our whoops, I'm hitting all the wrong buttons. Was it our 2 or 4 set? Our 2 set, yeah. So, yeah, our EM is already increased by 10. So then it's like, alright, that's it's another 6%. And then let's see what I click. Teachers of the monster has a 15% chance to refund a charge when consumed. The damage of Tiger Palm is increased by 10%. So, what does that mean? Let's go here. Let's just investigate this real quick. That is if I can find these things. Alright, so your Tiger Palm Blackout Kick, Rising Sun Kick, and our Jade Lightning heal up to 500 allies within 40 yards for 30%. As we go over our actually monk healing, this is actually going to change. This is going to go to 190% instead of 30%. But if we notice right here, we've got a Tiger Palm that is activating healing. And with this build that I'm going to go into, that's going to be super important. That talent where we increase this heal by 6%, that's going to be really more of your kind of range play style, where you're standing in the back and basically every minute you're just dropping your EMs into big Vivify cleaves. So that's not going to be the playstyle. This is going to be a very healing focused build, but it's still going to be based off being and hitting the enemy. That Fistweaver style. So this is our Master of Harmony right down here. Our build, where I almost did around 650, and I think it was an 8. So we're going to have the same kind of mindset of DPS. Overall, though, our numbers are going to be split almost in half. Actually, probably more than half. I'm averaging around 280k DPS in this very healing focused build. So, and then there's one other thing I wanted to show you, because that's actually what's super important is here. Here we go. So, Tiger Bomb causes your next Blackout Kick to strike an additional time, stacking up to 4. And we'll go over this because I talk about this a lot. We want to have a 2-to-1 ratio of Tiger Palms to Blackout Kicks. Hit or miss, get it close to that. And then a Blackout Kick has a 20% chance to reset the remaining cooldown on Rising Sun Kick. So let's go back there. So basically, when I Blackout Kick, there's a very small chance that I will still have some stacks of my Blackout Kick. I'll Blackout Kick with, like, in a perfect world, we want 4 stacks of Blackout Kick. I go into a Blackout Kick, bam, it does so much damage, it does so much Ancient Teachings passive healing to everyone. And then, typically I would have to Tiger Palm to get it back up to 4. This is claiming that, hey, there's a chance that you're not gonna consume that. Which in that case, that's pretty awesome, because if this kind of interacts and synergizes with our DPS rotation, we could, in theory, have a 4-stack Blackout Kick. Let's say we hit our Rising Sun Kick, because we're trying to fish for resets. That's one of our DPS concepts. To heal is we're trying to fish for resets of our Rising Sun Kick. So, Rising Sun Kick into a 4-stack Blackout Kick, bam, 4-stack Blackout Kick, bam. our Rising Sun Kick resets. Bam, we hit our Rising Sun Kick. We now have 2 Renewing Mist on 2 people. We now have multiple Gust of Mist healing going out to people. And guess what? This decided to activate and proc. Oh gosh, I can go right back into another big Blackout Kick. Oh my gosh, I just got another Rising Sun Kick reset. Um, it just, this synergizes better with a Fist Weaving playstyle than this kind of just raw data passive more heal. Alright. So this one is just kind of like a passive bonus. I would not make a weak aura trying to be like, oh, have I hit 20 stacks? Nah, just let this do its thing in the background. Um, Seriously, just let this do its thing. It's just an added little bonus. All right, so that's, I believe that's a 3-minute CD. Okay, so I clearly don't know anything about our defensives. Apparently that's a 90-second. For some reason I thought that was a 3-minute. So basically every 90 seconds if I want to click that, I just get a bigger absorb shield. Now, I will say, if you're experienced monk or a not experienced monk healer, we are the tankiest healer. This healing elixir just absolutely crushes. And then our expel harm heal, that with this, I mean we got big boss mechanics or big trash mechanics. I mean, this just heals us, and then if we need, sometimes we need more, then we just pop an expel harm, and we're usually good to go. So this seems kind of unnecessary. All right, so basically when we pop our conduit, we get a 10% heal right off the bat, and we get some damage reduction. Which typically when we're popping this in an AoE situation. We are taking damage. The whole group is taking damage. So why not have a little bit more health? Why not have a little bit more damage reduction? We've got our passive healing elixir that will kick in and heal us. I think this is good. Now that being said, these are actually both on 90-second cooldowns. So from a time aspect, these two choice nodes don't really, from a time perspective, doesn't really matter because they're actually the same. But typically you're going to be hitting this a lot more than you hit this. I typically will hit this in moments where I'm like, I really need to heal the group. I might even need to single target like a really squishy mage in the back when I think I got massive heals coming out, and I'm just like, I don't even want to expel harm myself during this like 4 or 5 second window. I'm gonna pop a fortifying brew, and then with this defensive reduction and my passive heal that will kick in, I'm gonna assume that I will be able to stay alive and really focus on that 1 or 2 people that I just have to make sure they don't die. That's kind of my mindset of using this cooldown. Probably not the best mindset, but it has worked for me. Alright, so go right below here. Basically, just our passive Tiger Palms and Vivifies have a chance to do some damage and do some single target healing. Just kind of like a simple passive bonus, and why not? Alright, so this is probably, so we got the Master Harmony build where we're really trying to play that mini game inside the game of getting that bar to 100. For this build, if we want to try to find a mini game inside of a mini game, is these procs of Enveloping Mist. This will light up, indicating that this has been activated, or will be activated if you click your Enveloping Mist. And this, I would say this is kind of the mini game inside the mini game. It feels good when this procs. Now, I will say, when this procs, this is one of our most expensive heals. You do not need to click this every single time. If this runs out and we lose it, it's not the end of the world. This procs so many times. In a boss fight, it'll proc like 4, 5, 6 times. It's not the end of the world if we don't use it, and a lot of times we don't need it. So basically what this is this will activate, you'll click your enveloping mist, and basically everyone's going to get a nice absorb shield. Um, we did it on the dummies. It claims to be around 200,000-ish for everyone. So at the end of the day, it's not much. At the end of a key, it will do about 25-ish million heals. Um, and it probably might do a little bit more. I typically, again, I'm not trying to activate this every single time it goes on. I think that would just be a big mana drain. Um, but it does feel good when we click it, it's activated, and we just see, bam, oh my gosh, I just gave everyone a nice little absorb shield. Alright, let's go down. Alright, so this is pretty awesome. So, I'm trying to think of a boss or a mechanic that this is super useful for. I am drawing a blank. So I wouldn't use this for this scenario, but it's the only thing that's coming to my mind right now is, let's just say the last boss in Necrotic Wake. Let's just say everyone got hit by at least one, everyone got hit by the first swirly on the ground that you have to dodge for like, what, 4 or 5 seconds? And you're also running around. So you could pop your conduit and you get a big movement buff. We already get our damage reduction. And then I'm just healing everyone, and I'm moving faster, avoiding those spikes on the ground. This is embarrassing because I could have sworn I had a really good example of when this is super useful, and I am just drawing a blank. But at some point in this video, I'm sure it'll come to me. We're gonna ignore that. We'll go back to this. Alright. Alright, so this is basically you would need to mark it into this, or let's see, right here. So I don't have that. Actually, Thunder Focus G summons that might be a sneaky good one for Master of Harmony, because we have those 2 charges. But because we're not into that node, this becomes obviously really pointless. So we're just gonna take this and get just a little bit passive heals. Alright, refreshing Jade Wind and spinning Crane Kick have a chance to cause GG Granny, a stack of Mana Tea. Alright, so we don't really care about the heal part of this, we care about the Mana Tea. That's another thing that I've noticed with my Monk Healer is even when I really need to heal, I'm still consistently above 60% mana. And then I would say every 3 pulls, just chug your Mana Tea, and you'll just be consistently 100% throughout the dungeon. Alright, casting... Okay, so this is another one where don't overthink this, just let this happen passively. Don't try to set a weak aura, don't try to min-max this, just let this happen. So, casting Jade Fire Stomp increases the damage of healing of your next Rising Sun Kick or Vivify. So like right off the bat it's like, oh man, like let's say a DPS is targeted by an ability. Man, maybe I should have a weak aura and know that, hey, I could go into a Renewing Mist, get that 50% buff. My Vivify is already 50% buffed. Then I could get another 50%, 100% Vivify buff, and really help out that DPS that's going through some type of damage that's unavoidable. Yes, you could do that. I recommend not. Just let this passively do its thing. In the long run, it will definitely help you. Alright, so basically, at the end of it, such a conduit community center. So I've never really fully understood this. All I know is when we finish this cast, I swear that our little absorb shield goes out. Also, when you cast this, there should be no reason why you should ever stop. Um, you should be able to just move out of a mechanic. Um, maybe you, like maybe the maybe like the last boss or the last mini boss of City of Threads. Maybe you get stuck. Even if you get stuck in that route, yes, we can target ourselves out of it. However, if the group needs the heals and we have the tank ability to survive, um, I would finish my cast. There's really no reason to clip this. Let it do its thing. All right, so that's the hero towns. Um, there aren't really there aren't really any decisions here. This is your standard. I even think this is Wowheads, and I agree with it. Alright, so let's go over here. So right now I've got a Master of Harmony build. For the most part, all this will stay the same. The only thing we're going to change is we want to go into our Jadefire Teachings. So instead of that 30% passive DPS heal, it's going to go to up to 190%. Alright, so Wowhead build isn't going to quite be like this. You typically can go into like a Rising Mist build. I don't do that. Alright, so this is a lot of this is standard. We're gonna have 3 charges of Renewing Mist. Because again, I'm going more healing focus. I just want a little bit more Gust of Mist because our mastery got shot into the ground after the 0.5 patch. And I just really want our 1 minute CD to actually do some healing. And this has definitely improved the numbers on details when I'm looking at my Gust of Mist healing. I'm getting when this activates and it crits, it's really helping out the group and keeping them alive. All right, so the only big thing here is if you want to be lazy, you can do this. You can do the Dance of Chi and just get a nice passive AoE heal going. However, I really don't think you need to spend a heal at all. With Master Harmony, in my video, I claim like you just don't need to spin, and I also agree with the Conduit of the Celestials. You don't need to spin, even with this proc. Like, obviously, if it procs, I'm gonna want to spin, but like, it's just this 190% buff is just too dang good. So I'm gonna want to just Tiger Palm, Blackheart, Tiger Palm, throw in a Rising Sun kick. So we're gonna go actually into lightning, and then there's a cool thing. What happens when we go into lightning is this is gonna become a 5th healing AOE pulse CD. So if we're in a group of 5 and there's a mini boss inside the 5, and he goes into like an 8-second channel, unavoidable big AOE pulsing damage. We can drop our Thunder Focus to activate this. Make sure our Jadefire Teaching Stomp is active. I do recommend having a weak aura for this. Which when we go over the target dummies, you'll see my weak aura get activated for this. And we just want to make sure it's at least around 5 seconds or more before we cast this, so that it's doing massive AoE heals. So that's that, and then all this is your typical Wowhead standard. There's nothing too crazy about this, so let's get right into this. Alright, so again, this is super healing focus. However, we still want to have a mindset, even the same mindset of kind of Master of Harmony, where we want to DPS, DPS, DPS. Our DPS is going to do so much healing. Okay, so just right off the bat, I hope Blizzard one day fixes this, but our 18 Teachings heals is not going to show on our meters. And that being said, let me switch that. Let's just go current. Alright. Alright, so right off the bat, let's just stomp. And there's that weak aura, that red bar. And that's just telling me, hey, like, when I DPS, heals are going out. I hit that Rising Sun Kick, I got 4 stacks. I'm gonna hit Blackout Kick and hope for a reset with 4 stacks. You have a good chance of getting it. And I got it. So then we'll go back up to 4 stacks. Hit our Rising Sun Kick, and we're fishing for resets. I just want to go over this one more time. This is your basic rotation. So hit Rising Sun Kick, and we're going to fish for a reset. And look at that, every single time we've gotten it. And if you look here, we have a proc of Enveloping Mist. So what does that mean? Let's see. Let's put it on here. Boom. So we go to healing. It went on to 5 people. And it gave everyone about 200,000 heal. Absorb shield, that is. So it really does about 1 million for the group. Just passive easy. Alright, so we're going in that 2 target palm typically. Going to Rising Sun Kick if it's ready. And then Blackout Kick to try to get that reset of the Rising Sun Kick. Because remember, a Rising Sun Kick is going to apply Renewing Mist. And it's going to apply, I believe, a Gust of Mist, if I understand that correctly. Yes, look at that. Rising Sun Kick now kicks up Gust of Mist up to 2 allies. So that's awesome. Now that being said, that looks like a not. That's kind of tricky because that's not our mastery. Unless this number changes based off our mastery. Okay, so Blizzard's already pretty smart. So yeah, that number does match our mastery. Okay, I thought it was a separate number. But yeah, so that's actually pretty cool because then this still works with this. We have a chance to Rising Sun Kick and do a lot of extra healing. Especially if it procs and it crits. We're looking good. Alright. So, again, we're still super healing focused with DPS, and we just happen to have another big cooldown, and then with that lightning, we have another cooldown. So this is kind of cool where we actually get 2 big healing CDs, and one of our big healing CDs is basically every 30 seconds. So basically, I can get 3 lightning AoE heals off in between our conduits. Pretty freaking awesome. Alright, so let's go over. Man, I can't show you this because it's ancient teaching heals, but you're just gonna have to trust. So let's say we're going in here. Obviously I just did 3 target bombs, a waste, but let's go into our lightning heal. So I wouldn't lightning heal right now because I just lost the buff, so I need to reapply that buff. I'll go into that. I'll probably typically go into a Rising Sun Kick and just get a Renewing Mist out on someone, and then I'll go into this AoE blast. Now, Ancient Teachings, as you can see, is not going to show up, which is dumb, but it did about 7 million. So, based off that and 190%, that means that lightning damage did about, I'm going to say it's going to do about around 12 million in heals. If you do the 190% math, that's a big heal. So basically every 30 seconds, just make sure that we've got our buff, because I have in the past, for whatever reason, I'll cast it like right, oh, I just reactivated it like an idiot. Whatever, I had a couple times where I'm like, okay, oh, AoE's coming out, oh crap, I'm gonna cast it. And like, I got half a cast of heals off that. That last second half of that cast did absolutely no healing. So just be aware of that. And look at that, we already got our little absorb shield proc. But just remember, we want to try to have a 2-to-1 ratio of our Tiger Palms and our Rising Sun Kicks. And then fish for those resets. Fish for those resets. That's kind of the mini game regardless of which hero tree, is the true mini game is fish for those resets of Rising Sun Kick. If you don't want another button like Chi Burst, 100% go into Chi Wave. Actually, typically I will always do Chi Wave. I've been practicing a Master of Harmony, just try to min-max it a little bit more on DPS focus. And I am just terrible at clicking Chi Burst. And then spinning, I'm telling you, you do not need to spin. Don't click it. Don't click it. That's all I'm gonna say. You don't need to click it. Alright, then Celestial Conduit itself. Let's actually go over here for this. Alright, so let's just pop out some Renewing Mist on people. Alright, then let me just pop this. Okay, so right off the bat, I didn't know that. It doesn't show that, so that's kind of annoying. However, oh boy. Huh. Okay, so it did go off, and it almost did. It still did 2 million, but it looks like it did more than that. A little confused by that. But at the end of that cast, we got our 2 million absorb shield, basically 200,000 to everyone, even though it claims 400. Alright, so that's that. Pretty chill. There is not a cooldown reduction on this, like every time I Rising Sun Kick. There's nothing like that. It's just on a hard 90 second. Just big thing is keep up your Jadefire Teachings buff, because that is where like 40% of our heals is going to be coming from. It's just simply DPS and keep it up. Naturally, as we do our rotation, this is going to get reset. Small little tip is, let's say this pack is about to die. That is not when I want to stomp. I do not want to stomp and then be like, oh, we're going to the next pack. And we're going over here. That is not what we want. And then I just want to go over one talent. Actually, I want to go over one talent myself. So this talent's not claiming what I think it's what's actually happening. Let's try to verify this. So let's Tiger Palm without the Jadefire Teachings buff. I think we're only gonna get one stack at a time. Yeah. So that's another. So that's the big thing I was trying to show you, and I can't see that in the thing. Yeah. So this is bad by them, because in Dragonflight they could explain this. They somehow are not explaining this, or it's in a talent that I'm not seeing, that I'm not understanding. Yeah, so that's a good point, because you wouldn't necessarily know that if you're new to Mist Weaving. So, when we're in our Jadefire Teachings window, our Tiger Palm will apply that Blackout Kick effect double. So, right now we don't have it active, so when I Tiger Palm, I would have to Tiger Palm 4 times to get that. And then we would fish for our reset. And there got our reset. Now we gotta go again. And again, and again. And then fish for that reset. But if we're in our stomp window, boom, 2. Boom, 2. So that's what I was saying was, let's say we stop, or, hold on, my apologies. Actually, it doesn't matter. We stop, boom, we go to the next pack over here. Now my target bombs over here are just gonna get applied once, and I'm still on cooldown. And then now I can get into that simple little 2-tap and then into a blackout kick. And I'm lagging a little bit, so that's great. So just keep that in mind. And then lastly, don't overstomp. Kind of like our enveloping mist concept, you do not need to click enveloping mist every single time it procs. Like right now, let's say everyone's at 100%, and I just know there's no AoE damage coming out. There's not even really single target damage. It's just, there's no point. Maybe it feels bad, but it's just not smart. And then let's talk about the same idea with our stomp. Okay, so we need to stomp to reactivate that buff. Got that buff. Oh, boom, look at that. It's right. I want to click it. It just lit up. No. You still have 10 seconds. Okay, now we're starting to think about click it. Okay, that's 100,000 mana. 100,000 mana right there. Let's click it every single time it comes off. Okay, let's click that. And let's also start clicking this. Every single time it comes off. Every single time it comes off. Look at that. We're already below 90. Okay, we're coming up. Oh, we got that. Oh, we got another proc. Oh, we got another proc. Let's pop that. Look at that. We're getting close to 80 now. Oh, we got a proc. Let's click it. If it procs, it must mean we should click it. Let's go. Oh, gotta reset. Now that reset actually worked out perfect. Woof. Oh, did I DC? Oh my gosh, the lag on this is insane. Alright, we got a proc. Oh, we got a proc. Let's pop it. Alright, let's go for one more proc each, and then we'll stop. And we got a proc. And we got a proc. Let's pop that. So, even though we're really overusing it, I'm telling you, this monk healer, it's hard to go through your mana resource. And then let's say, again, I was saying every kind of 3 pulls, just try to remind yourself, oh, I should probably thunder focus to the next pull. Okay, now I've got a big mana cost reduction, and I am now at 100% mana. And go for a reset. Oh, look at that. We did not get the reset on 4 stacks. So just remember, if I Rising Sun Kick, I'd say if it's within 3 seconds, don't Blackout Kick, hold it. Just hold for the natural reset, and then go right into that hard reset. Let me show you an example. So it's getting close to the reset, but if I Blackout Kick here, at that point it's like, you're almost wasting the concept of the reset. Actually, let's go into a 2. Okay, so same thing here, right? So it's getting close. I wouldn't click it here. Now I click it, and now it's like I gotta build back up to 4, get the reset. But yeah, and then just basic Monk 101 healing, still the same. Our idea is to weave in RMs, weave in those RMs, weave in Vivifies when people need a little bit of healing, and our Rising Sun Kick is also gonna RM people. That Ancient Teachings heal though, it's just really gonna carry the group, even in AoE healing situations. And then obviously we've got our big cooldown. Remember, this is a 40-second cooldown, but think about it as more like a 20-second cooldown. When it gets to 5 or more, and you need some AoE healing, don't be scared to pop it at 5. It will still really help you. Um, got that big heal, and then we got our really big heal, which just plays really well into the Fistweaver style, where we're just gonna go right into Tiger Palms. It's up to you if you how many times you want a Rising Sun Kick in that really quick window. When we get our procs from this, it could also be an overlapping proc of our other Absorb Shield. In that little 10-12 second window, I highly recommend do not hit your EM at all. We're trying to get as much DPS out in that 10-12 second window to produce that mastery Gust of Mist heals. Which I keep clicking the wrong button. We just want all that 98,000 heals going out, and then there's a chance for like 100,000+ heals coming out, 30% chance, and that'll just go right onto your party. With our mastery being nerfed decently, I keep clicking all the wrong buttons. I don't do what Wowhead says, so don't. If you don't feel comfortable with this, don't play like this. But I am in a crit verse playstyle because I'm typically in Master of Harmony, and I'm just trying to really maximize damage. But I will say, if you can get that mastery a little bit closer to the 100% mark, it feels better. Before this, I was in a mastery build, and then I got out of the mastery build, and I actually had this around, I think like low 80s, high 70s, and I swear, man, I would hit this, and I would DPS, and I swear, man, I could not get people to 100%. I could keep them alive, but it didn't feel good, because then I was like, I typically would be like, well, I guess I also need to gift heal at the end of this. So I have one piece of mastery gear, and it's a neck piece, and I will say that has made a nice change. I'm feeling a little bit, and look at that, I even crafted my weapon with the wrong stats, because that's just my playstyle and what I believe in. So like right off the bat, nobody plays with this trinket in M+. However, I do, because one, I'm more into the crit verse focus, so I'll love the crit stat from that. And then I'm typically in the other build where I'm DPSing, trying to do 600-700k in a key. And having that passive heal in the Master of Harmony build is super, super useful. But that being said, in this super healing focused build of the conduit, I really don't think this is a bad trinket. The number one best thing about this trinket and keys is the smart healing it does to the tank. It will heal like crap out of the tank. And then for mechanics where you need to move around and maybe not, you're healing. Naturally, when you're moving around doing mechanics, you can't heal. That was it. Look at that. We're gonna end the video on what we use this for with the speed boost concept. The first boss of Arikara, that big spider guy. He'll go into his big AoE burst, then he'll spawn those spiders. You quickly cleave. Just a heads up, when we're playing our Jade Lightning build, if you're talented into this, hit your Thunder Focus Chi, target those ads, and lightning them down. Then, at some point after that, it'll go over these swirlies. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't know how many times I ran that dungeon on lower content. I didn't realize the swirly mechanic that we have to dodge for like 4 or 5 seconds is also doing some pulsing AoE damage. For the longest time, I would just simply dodge and not heal. At some point I realized, you know what? I think people are taking damage during this phase. So, this would be a great opportunity where I need to dodge, because if I get hit by one of those, it's typically a one shot. I'm dead. But I need to heal. So like, naturally when we're running around and healing, we typically just throw out Renewing Mist, and I have a weak aura from my Instant Vivify, so I know that I have an Instant Vivify, so then that's just kind of how my basic passive run around and heal go. Maybe I have half a second to cast, but overall it doesn't feel good. Another oh shit run around heal button. We also have revival. We also can. I have done this a lot more in keys now, where I will pop my 1 minute CD heal, right? And I'm simply using it for the shield. I'm not. I may not even be able to DPS and get heals off. Um, so that's another thing. It doesn't feel good, but if we got no other buttons to click, don't hesitate to pop this for the absorb shield, and just keep your renewing mist up on people and keep hitting your vivify when it's free. No cast, that is. But yeah, so like the swirlies come out, people taking damage, like boom, like now I can just go super fast, AoE heal everyone. Good stuff. Glad I remembered that. Really glad I remember that. Honestly, almost all bosses, those 3 bosses of Ericera, popping your Celestial when you need to do moving mechanics on those boss fights, all 3 of them, super, super great. Alright, so that's that. Just remember this is your super healing and focus, but you still want to single target DPS the crap out of your enemies, because you're going to do so much ancient teachings heals. And what's the mini game inside of this WoW game we play for a Mistweaver? We want to get those resets on our Rising Sun kick. Try to Rising Sun kick as much as you can. To do that, try to get us 4 stacks as much as possible to get those resets. And don't do what I just did, go into a 4 stack with our thing and not even on cooldown. So that's the minigame inside the minigame. So just go into a key, check out those numbers. I would almost really focus on your Thunder Focus Tea to activate your Lightning, and then do that on a pull where you need the AoE heals, and just look at your people's health bars. They should be going up pretty quick. Yeah, so that's conduit, man. So just DPS. I'd say your goal is 200k DPS. I typically can get around 280 typically. So I'd say benchmark, just try to hit that 200k mark. If you're hitting 200k DPS in a key in that build, then you're clearly doing enough DPS and that you're doing enough ancient teachings heals. Because that should be your number 1 heal, and that should be, nothing should be even that close to it. Like, let's just say it does 300 million heals in a key. Your next one is probably going to be a Gust of Mist, and that should be way below, like let's say 150 million. So yeah, just DPS, aim for that 200k. If you can hit that 200k, naturally you're going to be doing probably 600-700k heals easily overall. So that's that. I hope that helped y'all.